what happens.
You would have to do it using like bots.
Yeah,
You don't.
Any
You
money.
don't. You don't. Here's how you do it. You go in the back. You go to the weird corner in the bunker, labeled radiation experiment. You rub some of that on you. Okay.
Rub the
Then the
radiation.
arms grow. Now you are going to have to invest in like 3 to 4 different computers, as many computers as arms grow from your torso. And then you just day trade, man. You day trade crypto. You're now crypto Goro day trader.
And eventually the arms kind of take on a sentience, and then it's like, you know,
muscle memory, baby.
Are you trading the days, or are the days trading you?
Well, and that's how you get night trading going.
Right.
Oh,
The
yeah.
arms, you can sleep, the arms continue.
Not a lot of people. Boy, if you think people aren't ready for day trading, nobody's ready for night trading. That shit's crazy.
Awesome night trades.
They're like, what are the futures on bat wings? I'm a night trader. Quick, sell ectoplasm.
Well, you shouldn't have to start selling your ectoplasm.
Sell fright. That's nothing.
God, the future, the capitalism that we live in now is wild, guys.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Should we? I mean, let's put the call out there now.
You want to pivot to a financial pod?
No, I still want to be a paranormal pod, but it'd be easier to talk about financial things if there was a cryptid cryptocurrency.
Well, I believe this has come up before. Didn't we settle on Ghost Coin or something?
Well, that was if we could figure out the maths, we could make our own coin, call it Ghost Coin.
Yeah, I'm sure Monstroca's working on something if they haven't already fired something off to destabilize them. Monstro Coin, that's right. Jeez, have we even checked our Monstro Coin portfolios recently?
No, I try not to look at my finances. That's for my ghost accountant.
I'm gonna check my Monstro Coin portfolio.
It's
got my eye. It's got the portfolio has my eye.
Hit it. Stop it.
Okay. It seems I mean, it's going up.
Okay.
It did grab my eye.
Well, they had to go up to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I'm Nick Balding.
I am Roger Norquist.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by the Monstroco Headlock 1000, a blood-resistant, comfort-handled axe, not for chopping off heads. Repeat, not for chopping off heads. Headlopper 9000, blood-resistant axe by Monstroco. What the fuck? So, I mean, obviously, once you get this thing into your own hands, you can do whatever you want with it. But they say it's not for head chopping. But
no, it's probably
if
for
you were to
chop.
If you were to chop heads with this thing, I mean, it'd be easier. It'd be harder to not chop a head. You know.
I think that's one of the big. That's the comfortable grip.
Comfortable grip is insane.
It puts the idea in your head that you could really you could swing at the neck.
I mean, they say it's not for head lopping, but the fact that they say that made me think about it. I will also say the fact that they called it the Headlopper 9000 just kind of plants the seed. And I'm not a head lopper, but they sent me one, and oof, if this isn't, I've been thinking about it. You know,
it's one of the bigger corporate misnomers. If it's not for head lobbing, I'm sorry.
No, they're very clear about that. But if you were, I mean, this is a Cadillac of head loppers right here.
Yeah.
But no,
it's that you can get in the Amityville series.
Yes. Well, the Amityville series had some flaws. This seems to be an improvement on that. The you don't see the pig creature when you wield this one, but you feel it. It's there saying chop. Go ahead and chop. Anyway, Monstroco Headlopper 9000 blood resistant comfort grip axe. What the fuck?
Awesome. Monstroco, another banger.
Another banger from Monstroco. How are you
Best
guys?
company on earth.
How's the vaccine settling in? How's your new blood?
I've been sleeping all week. My blood is sleepy.
Your blood is sleepy, huh? My blood is active. It itches a little, but it senses other blood now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's neat.
It's really, really sticky.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's even moving.
Cool. That's kind of cool, honestly. And
like
you
it's
seem
a sludge.
you seem very, I would say, very alive.
Yeah. Well, and I keep trying to cut myself to see if anything will happen, and no, just it's fully coagulated.
Great. This is wonderful. Our powers grow.
Our powers grow by the day.
I would like to. I've had a real. You remember back when we did? Can I go first? Do you guys mind?
Yeah.
By all means.
Back in the day when we were really into Valheim.
Sure.
Oh God, heady days they were, gents.
We're ready to beat the boss whenever
we're ready to beat the boss someday, you know. But we're playing Curse of Strahd now, and that's incredible.
That's our life now.
So come watch us do that at 2 on Mondays. Anyway, I wanted to do a similar thing with D&D because we are kind of in the D&D world. When we were playing Valheim, I did a little bit of a deep dive on the creatures of Valheim. And we've been playing D&D on our Twitch channel now. So I wanted to specifically pick one, maybe two. I think we have time for one, but I might do this more than once. One creature from D&D and do a little deep dive on it. So let's call this the D&D, which stands for Dungeons and Dragons Deep Dive. The quadruple D. We'll call it the quadruple D.
Ooh, okay.
With Jordan Dahl. That's another D.
Another 5 Ds.
Crazy. 5D corner. And the first one that I wanted to touch on was the Kobold. Y'all know about Kobolds?
I know them from D&D. They're a small little race of people.
Yes.
They're
like kind of like what, lizard-ish?
Dragon-esque.
Yeah, dragon-esque.
They serve dragons most
yes.
often.
Now in the in D&D current edition Dungeons and Dragons, they 5e. Are 5e, baby. They are described as, I'll actually get the Kobold description. Kobold 5e. They are dragonkin. Kobolds are craven reptilian humanoids that commonly infest dungeons. They make up for their physical ineptitude with cleverness for trap making. Interesting.
They're real.
That is not what kobolds are.
All right, what are they?
And prior to I think 5e, kobolds were described very differently, even in Dungeons and Dragons. I think they used to be like little dog kind of boys, like weird.
Yeah, I thought for a long time that they were dogmen because early drawings, the artists always depicted them as having like dog faces. But I guess they were still in the service of dragons and had some sort of genetic link. Yeah, they did look like dog people.
Yeah, totally. But then they lean more towards kind of little dragon kind these days. But if you go to the Kobold page for the Wikipedia, they are described thusly: the Kobold, occasionally Kobold, they spell it with a C instead of a K, in case you know, is a sprite stemming from Germanic mythology and surviving into modern times in German folklore. Although usually invisible, a kobold can materialize in the form of an animal, fire, a human being, or a candle.
Okay, so it's more spirit.
The most common depictions of kobolds show them as human-like figures the size of small children. Kobolds who live in human homes wear the clothing of peasants. Those who live in mines are hunched and ugly. Kobolds who live on ships smoke pipes and wear sailor clothing.
So they're just describing like industrial era people.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, this is all just an excuse for throwing rocks at various types of poor people, I suppose. Legends tell of 3 major types of kobolds. Most commonly, the creatures are house spirits of ambivalent nature. While they sometimes perform domestic chores, they play malicious tricks if insulted or neglected. Famous kobolds of this type include King Goldemar, Heinzelman, and Hodkin. These are some famous kobolds you might have heard about.
I might have.
In some regions, kobolds are known by local names, such as Galgenmanlen of southern Germany and the Heinzemachen of Cologne. I imagine he's like kind of a like a romantic, like
yeah, has a thin mustache that's
a
really
Lothario.
taken care of.
Yeah. He's in Cologne. He's hello, you know.
All the charm of an Axe body spray monster.
Yes, exactly. Another type of kobold haunts underground places such as mines. A third kind of kobold, the
For a second, I thought that
Klabautmann.
Hans Underground was going to be another German name.
That sounds like the name of a very specific club.
We're going to the Hans Underground. We're not coming back.
Hans Underground, put on your mining helmets. The Kobaltman lives aboard ships and helps sailors. This is the one that is most feared by people, but we'll get into that.
The one that helps sailors?
Yeah, the ocean one is he's kind of hardcore. Kobold beliefs are evidence of the survival of pagan customs, blobber and blobbity blah, Wikipedia doing its Wikipedia thing. The point is, kobolds, not what you might have thought if you've only seen them in D&D. I found an interesting article on ancientorigins.net. They do great shit. Which was written by Riley Winters. Thank you, Riley, in June of 2019. And this is called Don't Cross the Kobolds, Mischievous Spirits of European Folklore. And this is kind of a, if you will, a paranormal preparedness guide for dealing with kobolds.
All right, let's protect the people.
Totally.
It sounds like a game from my childhood.
Riley says, in ancient folklore, the kobold is a small, pointy-eared, goblin-like creature with a short temper and a mischievous spirit. While generally described as well-intentioned, angering a kobold is said to be a dangerous mistake. It's also like kind of easy to do, as we will see. They are described as spirits. Hang on. They are described as spirits that dwell among the living and can sometimes take the form of humans, elements, animals, and, as we've discussed, a candle. Depending on where they choose to make their home. The origins and spread of the kobolds. What is most intriguing about the kobolds is not only their persistence into modern folklore, but the way in which they seem to transcend various provinces and faiths. Known in England as brownies, in France as goblins, in Belgium as kabutos, and so on. Kobolds are still carefully considered and respected in Germanic culture. However, the kobold does not first come from Germany, but rather from Greece. Anybody want to gasp? Nice. Though there is much deliberation over the origin of the kobolds, it is believed that they descend from the ancient Greek koboloi, a spirit-like creature often invoked by followers of the god Dionysus and rogues. Sweet.
Hey, koboloi, come in. Have some food.
Even then, they were known as pranksters and tricksters who simultaneously aided the god Dionysus in his bacchant endeavors. So if Dionysus was out having a fuck or like an insane like orgiastic drink off, you would often see kobolds running around and, you know, refilling wines and
kind of like being the hype man, getting the party going,
mopping off his chest and neck, I imagine. By the 13th century, kobolds had been adopted by the Germanic people, culminating in the final name kobold. The Germanic suffix "olt," signifying of creatures of supernatural origin. Interesting, I didn't know that. So you might often hear them called Cobalt instead, which I imagine has a connection to that very same and precious metal that Elon Musk is stripping from Mother Earth. Anyway. Household kobolds are generally helpful. There are 3 known factions of kobolds, each task-oriented and initially well-intentioned. The sightings of the kobolds are few and far between, in part because they are said to complete tasks invisibly. Nevertheless, numerous people over the centuries have claimed to have seen kobolds, allowing a general description of their physicality and demeanor to be drawn. The most well-known, well-circulated type of kobold in Germanic folklore is the Domesticated Helper, not unlike the English brownie or hobgoblin. In the past, this sect has been perceived as akin to the Roman idea of lares and penates, familial household deities of protection. Never heard of those guys.
That's a new one for me too.
I knew about the garden guy. What's his name? Priapus?
Yeah.
With a huge
something
wooden
like that.
dick?
If it lasts for more than 4 hours, that's a medical term.
Yeah, priapism, exactly. That's why I know him. Not because I had that horrible. God damn it. Anyway, by choice, a household kobold picks a family with which to tie itself, and it offers its services in the dead of night. Which is spooky. By adding dirt to the family's milk jugs and sawdust to the otherwise clean living quarters, the kobold tests the master of the house to see if he understands and knows the service being offered. If the master is smart, he will leave the sawdust and drink the dirty milk, signaling to the kobold that he accepts its help and will treat it with respect by sharing a portion of his nightly supper. From then on, the kobold will serve the master's family until the last of his line dies off, or it is otherwise insulted.
Which seems like the door is pretty wide open.
Oh, well.
So you get one guy in your entire lineage that decides he doesn't want to drink the dirt milk.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's 360.
Yep.
From Beyond in our Zoom chat says that Heinzelman was an American Gods, right?
Oh, interesting. I haven't seen that. And from what I hear, I really fucking need to. However, tales of the dangers associated with insulting a kobold eventually led to the spirits being considered ill omens later in their mythology. One story, as written by folklorist Thomas Kitely, describes a kobold named Hodekin. Hodekin was insulted by a kitchen boy, and the head cook refused to punish him. In the dead of night, Hodekin beat the boy and tore him limb from limb, adding him to the pot of food cooking in the hearth.
All right. Yeah, no, this seems like a very measured response from the kobold.
Yeah, my guy
lost limb from limb.
Yeah. And cooked him in the pot. Yeah. This is some real Cartman shit. The cook was then killed for chastising the kobold's behavior. Wow, bummer. Instances like this are not uncommon in kobold culture, and thus have caused the other two sects of kobolds to be feared more so than the household creatures, undoubtedly due to their rougher natures. Stories of the minor kobolds inspired the name for a poisonous metal. The second form of kobold.
That's a cobalt.
Right? Well, maybe. Let's read on. Which came to be described in folklore around the 1500s, is the crude and dirty miners. Akin to the Norse perception of dwarves, they are described as smaller than humans and hot-tempered. They live under the ground and spend their days mining the metals of the earth. Though probably the least friendly of kobolds, legends say that they are more interested in what they find than anything else, and are generally indifferent towards humans. Nevertheless, stories of the mining kobolds were once so embedded within the human consciousness that miners decided to name the ore cobalt after them, because they blamed the kobold for the poisonous and troublesome nature of the typical arsenical ores of this metal. Oh, okay, so you find cobalt in arsenic deposits, apparently, which polluted other mined elements.
Oh yeah, cobalt is a wonderful metal of poison.
Interesting.
There is a bomb called the Cobalt 99 bomb.
Oh yeah,
that is designed to just poison the earth.
Oh shit! Isn't that what they? What's his name with Navalny?
No, I'm talking about a weapon of mass destruction.
Oh no, I know, but didn't they poison him with cobalt?
Oh, possibly. Russia's got a bunch of it.
Yeah. Anyway, sea kobolds were especially feared. The third and least.
When you think about the things that help sailors out are usually getting rid of STDs, like reversing a pregnancy.
I mean,
however that happens.
So far, the only one that tore somebody to pieces and put him in a soup was the house kobold.
Because he was insulted, and you don't insult a guest.
All right, right. Roger, get off the table. Least recognized type is the sea kobolds. These kobolds have been most often recorded by the people of northern Germany and the Netherlands, signifying that they may have been inspired by the previous two factions and lumped in with the kobolds due to physical and task similarities. Interesting. This group is similar to the household spirit, described as offering its protection and services to the captain and crew of a merchant or pirate ship. These creatures have been recorded as helping prevent the ship they are on from sinking. However, if the ship does sink, the kobold flees for its life, leaving the humans behind to fend for themselves.
I gave it a shot. I'll see ya.
Well, told you. It is because of this that sightings of a kobold came to be seen as a bad omen. It was said that if a ship's captain sees one before leaving the dock, he is certainly better off remaining on land and then tempting fate in the waters. That kobolds traveled so far north in both time and space shows the deep respect of their culture and further reveals the inexplicable bond of the human consciousness. By Riley Winters for ancientorigins.net. Great work, Riley. Kobolds. There you go, guys. This has been Quadruple D with Jordan D. A little deep dive into kobolds of old. And I think we're going to do different ones. You know, I'll come back.
I like it. There's so many monsters in the D&D world.
That you could, yeah.
I mean, I was like level 1 monster in most campaigns.
Level 1 monster. You know what? Before we end this
that's
segment,
the amount of respect that we have for kobold culture. They're easily dispatched level 1 encounter.
Before we end the segment, let's do a little Google search. Kobold sighting.
All right, let's see if there's anything new.
Hand account. Let's see if there's anything new.
I bet there is. Kobolds are out there. They're popular in Germany.
No. I'm not seeing anything here. I'll try to find some first-hand accounts.
Put that Google alert.
Faintedcanary.com doesn't have anything to report.
No.
Always in Cobalt.